Hey, I'm Victor Lucas. This is Johnny Millenium, and you are watching Film Fury. And we have just come back from a galaxy far, far away from a very, very long time ago. This is Solo. This is the prequel to Han Solo's story, starring Alden Ehrenreich as our new Han Solo. We're going to get used to saying that. And Donald Glover as our new Lando. We've got Emilia Clarke in here. We've got Paul Bettany in here. We've got Woody Harrelson in here. Some cool robots and creatures.
Some new worlds, some different things going on, yeah.
New worlds. I think everybody knows we get to do the Kessel run in this movie. Question is, did you enjoy yourself, Johnny Millenium?
I thought this movie was okay.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was incredible. I didn't think it was terrible. It landed somewhere right in the middle for me. And I think the guy playing Han Solo did okay. He's okay. Like, he's no Harrison Ford, nor did we think he could be Harrison Ford. He came in just kind of like, he just played the character. He just did it.
You know, I didn't really want to make this review about the backstory about how this movie got made and Phil Lord and Chris Miller got fired and then Ron Howard had to take over. But I think that's the problem with the movie. I think that.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
Did you feel it? Did you see it in the movie?
Yeah, because I think Ron Howard did a pretty damn good job salvaging whatever was done. And he made a pretty fun movie that feels very thin in the context of the other Star Wars movies.
Oh,
it feels
absolutely.
very small and very slight and almost like an episodic piece of television for right? Like a Netflix version of the Star Wars
That's a good
world.
way to put it. It felt like very like a television show. I didn't feel that huge budget, big, Star Wars movie extravaganza. It just came in right under the radar.
Yeah.
And everybody did okay.
Yeah.
Just very flat. I didn't fall in love. I didn't hate any character. There's some standout characters. Donald Glover, we got to say, I thought he was pretty damn good as Lando.
I've been overhyped by him. You know, like
really?
I love the guy, but I've just been reading how amazing he's going to be, and I've seen the trailers, and I've just been like, oh my God, he's going to be incredible. He does a commendable Billy D. Williams impression, but
it's a very big impression.
Yeah.
But I kind of forgot about that, and when all of a sudden we see him for the first time, and he starts doing the lines, I'm like, oh shit, it's Lando, and he's doing the lines. I'm like, and it is an impression, but it's a good impression.
It's solid, and I think he appeases people that want to feel like Billy D's Lando is in this movie.
He's done a good job.
As Harrison Ford's Han Solo is in this movie, I think he does a better job doing that than people will find Alden Ehrenreich to do. He does, because Alden Ehrenreich doesn't really do that much of an impression. He gets a couple of quick little mannerisms.
Yeah, he was doing his own thing, and I don't know when he was doing the screen test whether they're like, this guy is Han Solo.
Yeah.
He's just kind of, I know I'm saying it, but the acting performances in this are very flat. Put it this way, the robots, some of the robots, and this is no spoilers, are more entertaining than these characters.
I felt like the turmoil behind the scenes kind of sabotaged the potential of this
wow, you're really going
movie.
back to that,
I really do, because I feel like if Ron Howard had been given the reins right from the get-go, they would have had more time to kind of just embellish and add.
It feels very disjointed. It's all these kind of little stories going on, and I just never really cared about any of them fully.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we're at the end, and it's like, oh, that's the entire movie. We've told the entire story. That's it. I was expecting a little bit more bigger stuff. I like Chewbacca's story. I like that stuff in there.
I love
was
the
really
Han
good.
and Chewie relationship.
That is one thing that is really good in the movie.
And they really nailed that. And I also love the physicality of Chewbacca, because Peter Mayhew was beautiful performance.
Yeah.
He created this character for us, but he wasn't very physical with his performance. Maybe he'd carry 3PO around or whatever. But this Chewbacca is a nimble Chewbacca.
Fighting and
throwing stuff around. And
no spoilers, because I want to say a couple of things he did that are so cool.
Yeah, and he's, of course, they make him lift everything, which I thought wasn't very good. He was
poor Chewbacca. You
everything.
felt sorry for his character in this. You really did.
And
absolutely.
I love Chewie in this, and I actually like the interplay and the relationship that gets built between Han and Chewie. I thought that was all sweet, and I like the first big caper that we go on with Han and Chewie too.
I kind of just thought we kind of just went straight into it.
Yep.
There wasn't a really good build up to it. It's just like, we're doing this, and this is what we're doing.
It's like, these are the only characters we've talked to, so we're going with them. We don't have the time or the budget in this movie to go and meet other characters and make choices. We met these people. Let's just go do something with them.
And that's the problem. Characters are just doing things rather than we're caring about them, going, yeah, you got to go and do that.
Yes.
Or, oh my God, that's not going to work. Or, I never felt that through this movie. I hate to say it, I was kind of yawning at times, quite a few times.
I actually like the beginning elements a little little bit more because we, got a little brief kind of intro into who Han Solo is, and he has to make a really hard choice at the beginning, and he goes through some hardship, and he actually sees some combat, and you feel like, oh my God, this guy like really went through stuff, and it helped to shape who he is. They even helped to kind of configure his identity through all of that. And I thought, okay, these are nice touches. You can feel the Kasdan sort of loving care in this.
Yeah.
But then it does kind of peter out, I feel like, and then it sort of meanders. I mean, I did dig the first caper where we see some really cool action sequences on a train. I thought that was cool, and the enemies that we're introduced to looked amazing.
That's fine.
But then it sort of
just kind of goes
dissolves.
like this, and we're just doing these little things and for people, and people are backstabbing other people, and who do you trust, who do you don't trust, and then by the time the movie ended, I really didn't care too much.
It felt like part one of something, but that feels
we can't say that this is kind of set up, because I know they signed him on to do 3 movies.
Yeah.
And so there could be some sequels to this, and I'm very lukewarm on it. This is not a terrible movie.
No,
but it's not wow amazing.
Which is like, that's the heartbreaking thing. When we were kids, Han Solo was the coolest thing,
our hero
in the galaxy. And he was our hero, and the idea of getting a Han Solo movie is such a massive fantasy, and this is not a realization of that fantasy.
Well,
it's not as big as that.
Could you imagine that all of a sudden you come back to yourself when you were a kid and say, okay, they're going to make this Han Solo movie, and you'd be like, yeah!
Yes.
And you're like, but they're replacing Han Solo, you'd be like, what?
Yes.
And that is the major thing that's kind of hard, is that it is not Harrison Ford.
I feel like the major thing is that this was too rushed. The idea, the concept, the push, when the directors were fired, they should have put the pause button and really reconfigured this.
There's a train going at that point, and you can't stop it.
Even getting into this release date was all just silly. I feel like it just
push it to Christmas time.
They should have done something to just slow the brakes on this thing, slow the roll a bit, and make this the real Han Solo experience. Because we get whispers of it. There's he's got a smirk, he's got a sensibility.
Of it. You feel like they could have got there.
Yeah.
What I can't understand is Kasdan has gone on record to say this is his swan song, his final thing with his son that he wrote, and we all love his writing.
Yeah.
And I watched this movie and I'm like, this feels like, remember when we were talking when it started, like, it's just going to be like a fan fiction movie?
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it feels like some badly written fan fiction.
Yeah,
in a lot of ways, and I can't believe I'm saying that.
Well, one of the things that's really heartbreaking is the music is not memorable, except when we
the
put
callbacks to the original music.
And they're used in slight ways because they don't want it to overtake the film, and it's not quite the full epic Star Wars saga. We get that, but the rest of the music,
forgettable.
Totally forgettable.
The only thing is there's that kind of showdown in the sand. I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah.
And that kind of music kicked in. I was like, that's kind of memorable. And then that's it. That's the only thing I remember from the whole movie.
Yeah.
I was listening all the way through, and I'm thinking, what happened with the old Star Wars movies when the music kicked in and you were like transported? The music was better than the movies at times, and not so much here. So the acting is okay, the story's okay, the music's okay. This is an okay movie.
It's okay.
But would you recommend this to people to go and see?
Well, I think people are going to be curious. I don't think you have to rush out right away, opening weekend and blast through the doors and, get a whole party together and go to this. It's not that kind of a Star Wars movie.
No.
Unfortunately, it's not one of these ones.
Must go and see now.
Yeah, and I think it's not from the efforts. I think they tried, but there were a lot of pieces that just fell apart, and it just didn't come together enough. And there is some cool stuff in this, and I wouldn't hate more, but I feel like this scale that we were presented is pretty small scale. Felt like the TV version of Star Wars to me,
it's a brilliant way to put it. I think
amazing.
I'll always think that there were some really great moments that could have happened, like the Spice Mine. It was a really great setting, really great bad guys, really cool robots, and it felt like Star Wars to me. And it's just kind of handled so cruddily, and all of a sudden we're out of there, and it didn't matter.
It doesn't help that the print we saw was really murky too, and I kept
very
saying
dark. It was very dark.
Well, yeah, it was dark but gray. It wasn't blacks. It was like gray. It was like this muddiness all the way through it, and it gets a bit better in some certain scenes in the film, but there's just a lot of murkiness. And I'm looking.
I think that's our screening we saw.
I hope so. I'm looking forward to seeing this again on Blu-ray. I want
4K
to see.
would be unbelievable.
Yeah, I want to see this thing sort of crystal clear.
Shine, at that point,
because I liked this movie. I liked
I
it.
didn't hate it.
But I
didn't love it.
I didn't love it.
I know, it's really all these. You know what? Before we watched into this movie, a lot of the early reviews were it was a mixed kind of thing.
Yeah.
A C plus.
Yeah.
I call this movie a C plus.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I wouldn't say even a C minus. C plus. It's okay.
It's okay.
They aspire to do something great.
Yeah.
And didn't quite hit it. It's not gonna kill you. You're not gonna walk out screaming and mad and angry.
And we
You'd be
know
like,
with,
it's okay.
And we know with these Star Wars movies too. Like the more you see Rogue One, at least I've appreciated
Rogue
it
One
more.
was way better.
Totally, right from the
Rogue-
beginning.
yeah.
But I like it more every time I see it. I've liked The Last Jedi less every time I see
Me
it.
too.
These things are evolving, so
I
maybe
know.
if we see Solo again,
We'll like it a little bit more.
maybe.
I was thinking that when I was watching it, I'm like,
Yeah.
am I going to watch this on Blu-ray again? I'm like, yeah, of course I'll watch it a
Yeah.
couple more times.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is not one of those movies that's like classic and wow.
Yeah.
There's no wow moments.
You know what's tragic is that there are better stories in the Han Solo comic books and the books and the Splinter of the Mind's Eye. There's just all of these other tales that have been told around the films that are more interesting about this character. And this is his first big movie, and it's just not epic enough. We don't really go on enough of an adventure for
Yeah, we
him.
never delve into him,
Yeah.
and to be honest with you, I hate to bash on the guy because I think he did his best.
Yeah.
But I just don't think he was the right guy for the role.
Yeah.
He didn't feel cool enough. He
Cool
felt like
enough,
a guy
yeah.
going, "Hey, sorry about that."
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what it felt like.
He didn't get excited enough too, which is I think a missing element that
like
Harrison.
Chewie.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
always like Chewie.
Yeah.
We can't be doing that. It's like,
Harrison goes big.
Harrison goes big.
And he has the containment and just the coolness, but he goes big. And Alden Ehrenreich doesn't really go big. He kind of keeps it in a mid zone.
He
for
does.
The whole movie,
He's a very average take on Harrison Ford,
So-
for sure. But they couldn't have got that other guy. Remember the impersonator of Harrison
yeah.
Ford? He wouldn't have been good either, though.
He would have been too on the nose.
Too on the nose,
Yeah.
and that's not what you wanted. He had to push it a little bit and be a little bit more
Here's
fun.
what I think should have happened: Ron Howard should have got the gig right away, or they should have delayed the movie.
Yeah, but that's
and give
history
him
now.
6 months more of working through this character and working through this story.
Yeah, but also they should have given Ryan Johnson the second part. And anyways, we could go on and on. We could write these movies ourselves, right?
All right.
Fuck.
So the question is, score. Where are you coming in on Solo?
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I'm just going to give it a 7 out of 10.
I'm right there with you. 7 from me as well.